Hey guys, welcome to recap number 2 of The Time-Starved Marriage. I'm Scott, and this is my wife, Amy.
Hello. Welcome.
Thanks for joining us. And so we are going to start off with some of the homework we gave you for last week. I think we're calling it the cheesy homework. And we had some, I think it was...
Sorry,
No.
I got to bring out the cheese just for this part.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, when they emailed you, Scott, they said that they did their cheesy homework. So I feel like...
I'd say the majority of people said here was our cheesy homework. And so I want to give you a list of some of the things that were done. We were going to give our top one. I have my number 1 pick, but I want you to hear some of the other ones. First of all, I think we have a picture from the Coe family. If you could throw that up, Matt. The Coes did what is called a coffee crawl.
Aw.
And so they went to 4 different coffee shops in downtown.
Did they actually crawl?
No, I think it's a reference to like an alcohol, like going to different bars. So
Oh,
yeah.
but instead of alcohol, they do
coffee. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they did coffee, and so they would get 1 coffee at each place. Coffee was like $4, so they spent their $16 at 4 different places. And then they would listen to some of their favorite songs on the way to the next one and singing together. So it was a little date night.
That's so cheesy and cute.
So their kids are a little bit older, so they were able to get out of the house, as opposed to the Williams family, who played Scrabble after they put the kids to bed. And they said they had a good time and enjoyed that. And so didn't want to pay for babysitters. So I think their date was completely free.
Right. And they just had to pull out the board game and play a game together. And they're pretty competitive.
They're smart people, so they're not messing around with coffee.
I want to know who won, Ryan or Greg.
Oh, I'll put my...
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah.
I think
I
Ryan
don't
won.
want to say who
Okay.
won, but
All right.
Ryan.
Ryan probably won.
Some other ones were frozen yogurt. I like it. It said I had a coupon for buy one, get one free. So we snuck out, didn't tell the kids where we were going, and got yogurt. And then there was another one that said they went to Roosters for appetizers, and they didn't tell the kids.
Oh.
And the kids saw on their phone, Life 360, that they were at Roosters, and like, what are you guys doing there
Busted.
without us?
Oh, I love it.
Hot tub pizza.
I
They were
love it.
pizza from Donato's for
Did they send a picture for that?
No.
Okay.
Some of these we did not want pictures of.
Okay, that is too cute.
Puzzles and funny stories. So just spending that time together doing a puzzle and telling funny stories of things that had happened in the
Aw.
past week or two. Another one got really, really good where they said they found an old box of letters that they wrote to each other when they were dating long distance.
Aw.
Saw someone in the grocery store and I asked them about their date and they said, no, we don't do that till Tuesday. I said, oh, what do you do? And they said, oh, well, we have Naked Tuesdays. And I said, guys, I'm too young for that, please. And I just left.
Does this couple know that you're sharing that?
No, and I'm not going to tell who they are.
Okay, and no pictures.
But the
Cheesy.
number one I thought was this gentleman said, hey, wife, make some coffee and bring it out to the backyard. They hopped on their 4-wheeler, got a chainsaw out, chopped down a dead tree, made a bench, and then watched the sunset on the bench
Stop
they just made
it.
with the coffee they just made.
Okay.
Total investment less than $5 is what they said.
Okay.
That's the winner.
That is ridiculous.
There's no prize, but that's the winner.
I mean, I feel like there should be a prize for that. Should we buy them a block of cheese?
Just-
No, not this cheese.
Just give them the cheese.
I'm going to block of cheese, whatever.
All
you
right,
are.
tell them about our date real quick.
Okay, real quick. So I gotta say, it kind of goes along with this week's lesson of busyness because we had a very busy week and weekend. So we kind of, should I say, shoved it in last night?
Absolutely. We forced it. I don't think anybody wanted to leave the house last night, but it was the last night we were able to.
So
We had nieces and nephews staying with us,
yeah, it was like kind of like
sports games,
do what you
church.
say, one of those things. So we knew we were going to go on a date. Well, of course, we saved it
I
for
tried
the
to go
last minute.
Sunday, but someone else was too tired.
I was tired. I took a nap. So we went to BJ's Brew House, and they have a special every night. And we told our waiter up front that we were on a $20 budget. And I think his eyes were kind of wide open then. But I
But
explained.
we responded, hey, that doesn't include your tip. So we were going to break the rules and tip a little bit more than the $20.
So I told him, we're on this marriage challenge and we want to do our meal for less than $20. Anyways, it happened to be BJ's on Monday nights. You can get a deep dish pizza
Half off.
for half off.
Yes.
Which is amazing. It was so good. I've never had it before. But me and Scott thought that we could throw in a pizookie and still
fries. We saw the price tag and it said $15, and we're like, half off of $15. We're getting a pizza for
it was really half off
$7.50.
for 30. So we started taking things off of our order once we saw the total, and I was like, okay, so we don't want the fries.
No chips and salsa.
And then I was like, but Scott's like, I think we can still get the pizookie. So we ordered the pizookie, okay? And
that would have put us right at 20.
So we had our dinner, we talked or whatever, and then he came back with the bill, and it said $15, and we said, oh, you didn't charge us for the pizookie. And it's a pizookie, if you don't know what they are, they're some melted, deep dish, yummy cookie.
And Tuesday nights there for $3. That's when you want to go. Tuesday nights, $3.
And it has ice cream on top. Anyways, so he gave it to us for free because probably he felt bad for us. We were on a $20 budget, but he said it would have put you over in tax. And I said, oh my gosh, you're awesome. So he made up for it in tip. But anyways, so we spent about 2 hours out together, and yes, it was worth it.
Yep.
So just to reconnect and talk in our busy week and weekend. So.
And I think it was a silly little exercise, but the point of it was you have to make time to spend time together. Whether we desired to go out that night or didn't, we had a good time. Mm-hmm. We were laughing, we were joking, we were talking about our song, which we haven't talked about our song probably in 15 years. And so both of us still remembered it. And I don't remember either one of us listening to country music.
No. But you declared that it was our song.
I did, and we haven't said anything for 15 years.
I feel like you've said it since 15 years. It was a little bit of an awkward conversation.
I Love the Way You Love Me by John Michael Montgomery. And I swear neither one of us listened to country at any time, but for some reason. All right, but here's the point of that is in the study this week, we found that couples only spend 3 quality minutes together a day. Think about that, 3 quality minutes.
In conversation,
And what quality minutes does not mean is, hey, what do you want for dinner? Hey, help the kid with this homework. Hey, do laundry. Like, those are not quality minutes. Those are minutes that are in discussion. Those are minutes that really just help the day function and help the day work. Those are not quality minutes. Quality minutes are when we set everything else aside. And let me also add something else. I feel like every time we talk about our kids, it's in a negative way. It's like, put the kids away.
No.
Like, get rid of the kids. Make sure the kids aren't there.
We love our kids.
We love our children most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time.
But honestly, putting the kids away, making sure you spend time. Yeah, sending them to bed.
Yeah, yes, that's a better way to put it. You're saying put them away like you're locking them in the basement or something.
I mean, whatever works for you and your family.
Right.
But spending that time really talking about, hey, what happened in your day today? What's going on in your life? How are you feeling? What's on your mind? How's your mental health? How's your physical health? And asking some of these questions that normally don't happen. Because what normally happens...
Can I say something?
Yes, you can.
I'll give you what not to do. Sorry, I have the giggles. Scott does not like when I wait. Do you know what I'm going to say?
I don't.
When I wait till about 11:30ish at night and we're laying in bed and the lights are all shut off and the kids are all kind of all in their settled ways getting ready for bed, and he has his eyes closed, and then all of a sudden I get a burst of energy and I want to talk. Is that the right time?
No, that's the wrong time, and it's not the way like wanting to talk, but it's 11:30, and when I go to bed real quick. So it's like
right.
I put my head down, I'm gone, and like she'll be right next to me, and what I think she should do is like, hey, Scott, how was your day? My wife's super loud, so she's like, hey! And I'm halfway asleep already, so it just kind of scares me. Like, why are you scaring me?
Okay.
But anyways, the 3 minutes a day is not enough. Think about it. 3 minutes a day, you're spending more time with your dog in quality time than we are. You're spending more time in the office with people, more time with your golf buddies and your friends. I mean, there's so much, I guess, wasted time that we have at home that could be used for quality time. And so I'm not saying every night But I'm saying there needs to be something at least once a week where you are spending that quality time, where you're reconnecting. And there are so many things that get in the way. But if we look at the priorities we talked about last week, work can't be your number one priority. Your relationship with God is your number one priority. Then your spouse becomes your number two priority. So it doesn't mean we hate our children, still spend quality time with them, because it's like, what, 252 weekend? No, 900? Anyways, 18 years and they're gone.
Yeah.
So make those memories, spend those times with them. And in fact, what we do, if you didn't look at this, but you notice one of the things we do unintentionally is the coffee mugs we have in our house are vacations or experiences we've gone on. And so we didn't plan this today, but look at your mug right there. We went on a cruise with the kids, I think 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
We invested in that. And you spend all that money, we get the coffee mugs to remind us. We took the kids to a Michigan game, Michigan versus Ohio State game. And so I think 2 of them were in Ohio State gear and 4 of us were in Michigan gear. This is the most expensive hot chocolate I've ever bought, this mug. But these little things remind us of the things we're investing in. So spend time with your kids, spend time with your family, but more importantly, invest in the relationship, because it says you're either wasting time or you're investing time. We waste time. We could sit down and just watch a TV show together. We can just sit down and watch a movie together. And I don't know if it's wasting time, but it's not connecting time that we could be.
And I think that's a practice, Scott, because most men don't want to share about their day or talk in details.
Oh, it's weird.
It's so important for
It's these feelings we've trapped down for 30 years, and then all of a sudden you're asking us to share about our feelings.
Yeah. So I think it's important to understand that God has created us differently, and you work through those challenges, I would say. And when we were first married, Scott if you looked at our text thread even, it's just yes, no, okay, see you at 4:30.
Oh, stop. When we first got married, our text thread.
Oh, I'm just saying our text thread were even right
No,
now.
right now.
Yeah,
but when
sorry,
we
there
first
was no
got married, there
texting.
wasn't texting.
But I'm saying our communication is very just, you're to the point. You just want, and girls are very, emotionally driven, and so you learn to communicate with each other. So it is so important to make that time, even if you don't want to. It's important to your wives. So
Yeah. So with that, wasting or investing time, what I hope you got out of today, this week, was those little dates. It's probably not a great reward. It's called an investment. It means it'll pay off at a later time. And so you may go through 3 or 4 weeks of really spending this time together, and you don't feel like there's a payoff yet. You don't feel like, hey, our relationship's better. We don't feel like our marriage is better because of it. Well, the investment is, a lot of times you don't see it for a long time. A lot of times you don't see what you're putting in for a long time. And maybe what you're putting in just means things aren't bad. Maybe because the investment, things aren't as good as what you want them to be, but because of the investment, they're not as bad as what they could be. And so one of the things I caught this week was we asked our children, hey, just go in the back, watch a movie, and they picked Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which apparently had a lot more language than I remember.
I know. All those.
And so we got to the end of it,
movies.
and this is like an 86, 87
Oh, is it
movie,
80?
and it's PG.
Right. Ridiculous.
And anyways, the very last line, we come into the watch the last few seconds of it, and anyways, the very last line, Ferris Bueller turns and says, "Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it." And I think that's what we want to do through this marriage class is, hey, your family is here for a little bit and then it's gone. Like your life is quick. And if you don't stop and take these moments, you really could miss it.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
I love it.
We're going to battle busyness.
Okay.
And so battling busyness is what they really talked about in this lesson.
They said slay the dragon.
Slay the dragon.
And I really think that busyness is something that, even if probably unmarried couples are not watching this, but busyness is something that is a dragon to all of us. So, you want me to move the cheese?
Yeah, the cheese has been there the whole time.
Okay,
huh?
well, I got to bring it out later. And it does affect your individual life, your family life, and your marriage, and even your spiritual life. So I love that this week is being talked about.
But we sometimes, men and women, take it as a badge of honor. I am so busy. I am so tied up. I am so important that people need me at work. I'm so important that I have so many things to do. And so we take this as a sense of pride. Like, look how busy I am. You people that aren't busy, you're not working hard enough. You're not doing what you could. You could be pressing harder. And I think there's a balance to that.
Right.
But being busy is not good.
Most people say, oh, I'm just so busy. Like, how are you doing? I'm just so busy. I say it all the time.
Yeah.
My mom's like, you're always busy, Amy. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So learning to say no, I think, was the third thing they said in battling this dragon. Say no. I saw this guy on Sunday who I'm having help me fix me with my lawnmower. And I said, hey, I just want to see how you're going. Actually, I went to him and said, hey, I'm not going to have you fix my lawnmower. He goes, oh, that's good. I haven't been getting home until 9:30, 10 o'clock every night. I'm like, yeah, you need to say no to me next time I try to ask you to fix something for me because you're too busy. Like, you have good intentions. You want to help and you want to do stuff. But when you do that, you're sacrificing other things. And so learn to say no to something.
Is that so? Are you going over the 3?
Yeah,
things?
I already started at number 3.
No,
Say
that's all right. No, I think that's so important. I did a study years ago with Christine, and Lisa Turkhurst did it, and it says, what is your best yes?
Yes.
And
that was the original, your best yes.
Yeah, so even to apply it to our marriage, there might be no's to other good things, not bad things, even ministry things, but to see where the importance lies. And I know for me and Scott, I feel like we've did a good job in the past decade or so saying no to outside things so that we can be together. And then one thing that is awesome is you do include me in a lot of things. Your life is ministry, and I appreciate that you've included me with that. But being intentional that you're not so busy with your girlfriends or your friends outside of your marriage that you don't leave that time for your spouse. So saying no to maybe even good things is an okay thing.
Yep. Say no to good so you can say yes to the best. Mm-hmm. And we do separate things as well. We don't spend all of our time.
No.
There is guy time.
Yeah,
there's pickleball time that has to happen. There's golf time that has to happen. And then there's
nap time. I'm such a loser. I'm sorry. I just like to nap. Okay, sorry. Side note.
I think the second one we're going to fall in line with pretty easy because it's naturally who we are. And we probably need to be more serious from time to time. But another way to battle busyness is through humor and laughter. Mm-hmm. And so when you don't take yourself as serious and you make those mistakes and you don't get mad at your spouse for laughing at the mistakes you make, you're the first one laughing. It creates a little more fun within the marriage. And we go back to when you first were dating, when you were engaged, the humor, the laughter, the fun that you had. And somewhere along the line, busyness or life just rips that from us. And so I would say continue to do those stupid fun things where, when you're first dating and dancing in the rain would be something hilarious. It would be fun. It'd be a memory. But now that you're sophisticated and 20 years into marriage, those are things we don't do anymore. You know what? Let your kids see that. Mm-hmm. Let your kids experience that. Let your kids see, like, mom and dad are so weird, and let them hold on to that until they get married and think, man, mom and dad were so cool. They had so much fun.
I think being intentional about having fun together, whether that is through laughter or even doing silly things to each other, whatever that looks like in your marriage, and being intentional about it, because laughter is something that breaks the ice a little bit in tense times too. So even picking your battles and showing grace and mercy in those little areas of your life, and kind of even making fun of yourself when you mess up. Just, there's serious things that you do need to deal with, but the little things, give each other grace and mercy and go with it through laughter.
Yep. And probably the number one thing that I learned from this study was don't give your spouse the leftovers. If you got an exciting thing to say,
you give me the steak, baby, not the side.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I don't understand the reference.
Like steak, like if you have a dinner, like steak and potatoes and like carrots, you're gonna give me the steak, not like the...
Yep. No leftovers.
Oh, he just said yes.
Yeah. There's never leftover steak. I'm eating the whole thing. All right.
I'm sorry. Matt Burleson's laughing.
So don't tell everyone else your exciting news from work. Don't tell everyone else your exciting thing that you've heard. Wait to tell your spouse. Tell your spouse the first time. Or like they said, hey, text your spouse and say, hey, I've got some exciting news later. I think really making sure your spouse is the number one person in your life, that they hear the news, they hear the exciting thing, and they hear it first. Or, hey, you meant for them to hear it first, but because of their schedule, they couldn't. But you sent them that text like, hey, I was thinking about you during this time. I was thinking about you that when I heard this good news, although you couldn't hear it first, I wanted you to be one of the first to know about it. And it didn't work that way. It didn't work its way out, but I wanted you to be a part of it. And so just making sure that your spouse gets the best of you. I don't know how that can happen all the time, because work's going to take energy out of you. Kids going to take energy out of you. But still making sure your spouse gets some of the main parts of you rather than the leftovers.
Right. I think that we can run ourselves ragged with busyness through work or schedules or kids or whatever your life looks like. And when you get home and try to reconnect with your spouse, that you're so tired. And so you're not even purposely not giving them your best, but to be conscious of that and to be intentional. Even just, saying, hey, I tell Scott all the time, I'm like, man, those preschoolers drain me. I have been on my feet all day or whatever, and I'm exhausted. So to know our limits, but also know that we're giving our best to our spouse. And I don't do that well. Sometimes. I don't do it well sometimes.
Is this like a confession?
Yeah, right.
Oh.
But I do. I think that, and men probably, they work, long hours, and if you're a stay-at-home mom, they come home and they're exhausted and they're so busy, but then the mom's busy in a different way, and you're giving each other leftovers, and that can cause division and conflict. So whatever that looks like, and even just talking about it and seeing ways that you can reconnect.
One of the things that one of our staff members, Andrew Segree, who used to be on staff here like 10 years ago, he would take the longer way home. Instead of taking a 7-minute drive, he'd take a 10-minute drive. And I asked him one day, I was like, why don't you go down Route 3 instead of the back roads? He goes, well, that's my time to kind of, it's my time. It's my time to kind of unload. I'm like, well, it's only 3 minutes difference. He goes, yeah, but it's through nature and whatnot. He goes, that's where I leave work. Because I want to he didn't say reconnect, but I want to kind of refocus that when I get home, my wife's going to get a good part of me. And I thought, man, what a great idea.
Yeah, awesome.
Do your time in the car, maybe get yourself a little coffee or something.
Yeah.
And then when you get home, your spouse, maybe not for the next 7 hours, but at least for the next few moments when you get home, or the next small part of time, your wife or your spouse gets the best of you.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Anything else?
No, not really.
All right.
Yeah, that was a good session. I think that it's something we can all take to heart, because we're all busy. We're always going to be busy.
Always going to be busy.
And if we don't
battle
take time,
busyness.
Yep.
All right, it's cheesy homework time.
Is it?
Yeah.
So do you want me to bring out the cheese?
Yeah, it's cheesy homework
All
time.
right, here we go. I was trying to roll it over, but it keeps on knocking into the microphone.
We wouldn't roll. No,
Right.
not going to roll. All right, here is something I make everyone who does the premarital counseling go through me before we do their wedding do, and it is super cheesy.
Cheesy.
Super cheesy. We're going to ask you to read a few Bible verses. So when you talk about love in the Bible, you're going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 8. And it says, love is patient, love is kind, love does not boast, is not arrogant. And it says love repeatedly, time and time again. So this is going to be super cheesy. You're going to laugh. But after you're done laughing, I think you can get through it. So what you're going to ask each of you to do is to take these verses and read it to your spouse. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to read 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4. And instead of saying love is patient, I'm going to say Scott is patient. And I'm going to read every time I see the word love, I'm going to replace it with my name. So Scott is patient. Scott is kind. Scott does not envy. Scott is not boastful. Scott is not arrogant. And so we're going to read through these. Super cheesy, but I want you to understand the biblical view of love and what goes with love. So when you understand, when I say I love you, one, it's not I lust after you, or two, hey, I want to spend some quality time together with you. When you say I love you, you're saying this is what I mean when I say love. It means I'm not going to hold things against you from the past. It means I'm not going to be jealous of your success. I'm not going to boast about myself. And so it may take several times to get through it, because your spouse will be like, that's not true. Spouses just be quiet when they're reading. You don't have to point out, well, no, you're boastful or you're
Yeah.
arrogant, and just read through that. Take a few seconds and then have your spouse read it back to you. Where Amy's going to read. Amy is...
Patient.
Yeah, so we'll get through it. We'll figure out how it goes. But just
Did you
read
think
that.
I knew it by heart?
No,
Oh, okay. I am patient, right?
sometimes.
Yeah. I wanted to say though, Scott, even with the homework that because I was telling Scott before this, like we don't portray that we haven't had little struggles in our marriage.
We don't seem to get along with any. We have opinions that are opposite on everything.
Me and Scott are very opinionated.
We don't see the world through the same
And
lens.
honestly, if our relationship wasn't individually right with God, individually, this wouldn't work, right?
First of all, we're like the worst people to get married. Like the youngest of the family is used to getting what they always want, and we're both the youngest of the. I'm the
both
youngest
babies,
of 2.
yep.
You're the youngest of 3. So like it's the worst kind of relationship to have because neither one of us are super responsible.
Yeah, you are very responsible.
Well, I've grown into it,
Yeah.
but naturally we're not super responsible, and we're used to getting our own way. So there is this back and forth. Like,
Yeah.
hey, no, if I just complain enough, if I'm just loud enough, I'll get my way.
Right. So I do want to say that with all this, even the cheesy homework and what we're studying these past 2 weeks so far, that I want to come with an understanding, know that every married couple isn't going to look polished with these 20 minutes of how me and Scott look.
I would not call this polished.
But I do want to encourage you that with God, all things are possible. And as you do this homework, that even if it's hard to say it at first, maybe write it down first in your own heart and your own mind, and then read it to your spouse. Maybe that's something you need to declare to the Lord first before you say it to your spouse. And honestly, because I want to say that God does do a lot of things in marriages, and He can restore, and He can make all things new. So not everything is polished and bubbly, but through God's word and through these little exercises, we pray that your marriage is strengthened.
Yeah, and we don't know where your marriage is right now, but we know that every marriage that has ever existed has mountains and valleys. There's no one that lives on the mountaintop, and hopefully there's not many that stay in the valley. But there is ups and downs, and regardless of where you're at, we pray that you don't stay in the valley long, and you make it to the mountaintop and expend as much time there as you can.
Yep. And experience the cheesy homework with us.
Cheesy homework.
All right.
All right, we good?
Yep, we're good. All
Let's
right.
pray. God, we love you. And as we think about in our marriages how you've designed us to leave our separate families and just bond together and become one, God, we ask that we would invest in this with time. God, that we would find time, that we would make time in the busyness of our schedules. God, that we would say no to good things so we can say yes to great things. And God, just continue to strengthen marriages. God, be with the marriages that are in the valley right now that, God, that just could be doing so much better, that you would shape their hearts to desire more of you and more of each other in their lives and just grow them together. God, we ask that you just continue to bless this series and bless this time together. In Jesus' name.